All right, carrying on with our focused look at the individual managers, let's look at the mask manager. I've got a simple chlorophyll product open here. I'm going to switch over to the mask manager. There's actually quite a bit hidden here, so I'm going to stretch our sidebar area over quite a bit to reveal all of its columns. Okay. Maybe it's best to introduce here the fact or the idea of what is a mask. A mask is simply a collection of pixels. It overlays our data and represents again, a collection of pixels that we might want to treat as a single thing. That collection might be contained within a polygonal area, box, a circle, oval. We'll learn how to create those shapes later. Um, or it could be in terms of the values of the data in my file, or it may be in terms of expressions combining other masks. But initially, I just want to talk about what the color manager really is here for. It's here for one thing, to control the appearance of masks. So I can enable the land mask, for example. These masks were automatically created in the processing of chlorophyll data that I downloaded from the Ocean Color site. But here I have control over its color. So if I click on this little color swatch, I actually get into a field here with a triplet of numbers for red, green, and blue. These numbers range in value from 0 to 255. That's an 8-bit quantity. So if I take the green color all the way down to 0 and hit enter, the color of my mask changes. Okay? So I have complete control either numerically, or I can click on this for a collection of predefined colors. So I can pick one of those from here, make it extremely bright green. The RGB values change to reflect that. I can click more colors and actually have all sorts of color control to search for the color using various models: hue, saturation, and value, hue, saturation, and lightness. So as I slide these, there's a small plus sign moving around to reflect, or I can just click and drag in here and the sliders change to reflect that. So I can find my custom color quite easily. Maybe I want some sort of, I don't know, a purplish blue or something like that. Click OK. I change my mask color. The next column here is transparency. If it's 0 transparency, it's opaque, but if it's, say, 0.5 transparency, now it's showing through. Okay. We'll see in a second the data behind a transparent mask will show through, and so on. And then you have this column of description, which is actually very helpful for understanding what these masks are. This, for example, Coast Z mask reflects pixels that were deemed to be in shallow water less than 30 meters deep. Okay. Mod glint, for example, is moderate glint was determined. Okay. Okay, so finally it has the type, which is not so important. These are derived mathematically. That may change as you add masks, but of no concern. The other feature of the Mask Manager, however, is this toolbar. And this is a very powerful toolbar for this feature. Masks may seem a little nebulous so far, but we will dive into them pretty deep because they can really help you zero in on portions of your data that are more important than others. I'll use one example here. If we hover, we'll see the tooltip showing that we can create a new mask based on a logical band maths expression. we can create a new mask based on a value range. Let's do that. That should be pretty easy. So it throws up this dialog here. It allows me to access any of the bands in the file that I'm currently working on, not just the one that I'm looking at. I'm going to pick the chlor A in this case, and I'm going to look for, let's say, chlorophyll values ranging from 1.0 to a maximum of, let's say, 5.0. And I click OK, and I created a new mask in the Mask Manager. It gives it this name, and I can double click that and edit that. So I can delete all this text out of here and just say, I'll just say low chlor A. Okay. I can change its color. Maybe I want that to be, I don't know, black for this example. Maybe I want it to be opaque, so I'll set it to 0 transparency. Okay. So these pixels that I'm highlighting here with the mask on are in the data chlorophyll values between 1 and 5. Very easy to create those and just focus on those. Once I select any mask in the list, other tools are enabled. I can duplicate. If I hover over this, it should say copy. So I can duplicate this mask. It may become useful to use a copy in some other operation, but we may come to that later. You can create the complement, that is the pixels in the image that do not reflect that criterion of 1 to 5. So here we are saying this mask, I'll make it, I guess, white instead of black, okay, is, and we'll make it opaque, okay. Those pixels are where chlorophyll is not between 1 and 5. Well, it includes chlorophyll values that don't exist and so on. Well, no, that's not true. There's no data there. But anyhow, it's the complement. So if I turn them both on, then I have the white pixels are not chlorophyll between 1 and 5, and the black pixels are. Okay, just a simple illustration of some of the power here, but really just highlighting the tools here. If this is a meaningless mask and I don't want it anymore, with it highlighted, the garbage can allows me to delete it. Okay, cannot be undone. I can blow that away. It's gone. I can actually, there are other tools available that we'll look at as we dive deeper, but this function capability where I can actually create an expression out of other masks and bands and so on is incredibly powerful for an analytical tool to look at my data. That's all for the Mask Manager itself, though. We will look at the deeper side of masks in a later tutorial.